Good day. We are here at Berlin Community College to conduct an interview to CBP students. Come on, join us.
So, good day everyone. I am Maria Althea Durano. I am currently a third-year Bachelor in Public Administration student, and I am here today having an interview from the first year in their contemporary world subject.
Okay, so the question is, what are the main push and pull factors driving Filipino professionals to work abroad? What is your idea on how these factors contribute to brain drain, skills mismatch, and their impact on the country's workforce and economy?
So, I think the main push of the Filipino professionals to work abroad is because of the income that they could have there. Kasi I do believe that Filipinos actually deserve to have a high wage. But unfortunately here in the Philippines, though we have this standardized laws that supports our workers, but unfortunately because of the employers rin, at saka yung inflation rate natin is very high. So, hindi talaga as in parang na-encourage yung Filipinos natin to work here in the Philippines, but they have to work abroad. So, I do believe also that the factors contribute to brain drain, skills mismatch, and their impact on the country's workforce and economy is because na, for example, nakapagtapos ka sa kursong public administration, tapos yung trinabahuan mo dun is maging caretaker. So, it's kind of a mismatch kasi you are here as a public administrator, dapat public administrator ka, but because of the high demand in abroad of having mga caretakers, mas inuna mo pa yung trabaho dun kasi mataas yung pagbigay ng sahod nila sa iyo kesa dito sa Pilipinas, where in fact yung sa isang araw yung estimated lang dito is 200 per day, 300, which is kind of a disadvantage on that part. So yun lang po yung ma-answer ko sa question 1.
So the number 2 question is, what is your belief in the role of the Philippine government and industries in addressing brain drain and skills mismatch by improving local job opportunities, especially in case sectors like healthcare and education?
So, I do believe that the Philippine government is the main responsible on taking care of our Filipino workers. Kasi first and foremost, the government itself should provide all the necessary things that Filipinos should have. But unfortunately, because of the staffing in the Philippine government system right now, we are facing in a fiasco political carnival, kumbaga. Hindi nila natututunan talaga ng pansin yung pinaka main objective natin na dapat hindi na tayo magpapadeploy ng mga Filipino workers abroad. Kasi yung focus natin, mas mapalaki pa yung workforce natin dito sa Pilipinas. And then, mas lumago pa yung ekonomiya natin. But I do believe that the Philippine government should prioritize on increasing the minimum, the wages in our workers here. And then, at the same time, yung mga benefits na makukuha nila. And then, at the same time, yung welfare ng families ng workers dito sa Pilipinas. At saka, if possible naman, kung may mga workers tayo abroad, may makuha rin naman silang benefits dun sa abroad with the care of the Philippine government in partnership with the country that we live in. Yun lang.
So the last question is, what role do foreign countries play in attracting Filipino professionals? What do you think the government should focus to make local jobs more competitive, reduce brain drain, and address skills mismatch?
I think the foreign countries, yung pinaka-advantage nila that's why they are able to recruit Filipino professionals. It's because first and foremost, yung economy rin sa bansa nila maganda, and then the way that they treat the workers themselves, and then at the same time yung nakikita ko rin paano ba yung workers makaka-adapt dun sa mismong country na napunta sila. So for example, in America, I do believe that in America yung mga Filipinos natin mas marami na kesa dun sa mga other na American citizens or di kayo yung ibang mga immigrants doon. So, there are some reasons why foreign countries are able to attract Filipino professionals is because yung, for example, in nursing, yung mga nurses, they're also nakikater rin yung mga needs nila, tsaka yung mga demands nila na papakinggan rin. Dito sa Pilipinas kasi, no matter how we protest, hindi talaga ma-a-actionan kaagad kasi maraming prosesong dadaanan. So, I do believe that the government should focus on listening talaga dun sa demands ng mga workers natin kasi first and foremost, dito tayo humuhugot ng taxes, which yung taxes is pangbayad dun sa mga infrastructures, mga projects, programs na isinusulong nila kasi hindi naman to benefit sa government mismo, kundi benefit naman talaga ng mga hindi lang ng Filipino workers, kundi ng Filipinos as well, yung community na mismo, yung pangkalahatan na yun.
What actions should communities and the government take to protect local ecosystems, such as forests, mangroves, and wetlands, while addressing climate change and meeting the needs of a growing population? How can ecosystem protection improve flood management and disaster resilience in flood-prone areas?
For me, sa tingin ko is magkamay dahil tree planting like that para kay, di ba, trees nakakakuan niya, nag-absorb yan water, so pag nagtanong like more trees, syempre may ma-absorb it water, iba na nit mga kuan it like pagbaha, tapos limpyuhan nagyapit mga like mga canals suga dito para waray na nakakabarahit hit daluyan it mga tubig suga dito. Tapos ano pa ba?
If you had to choose between former President Duterte and President Marcos in terms of handling the completion of flood control infrastructure, budgets, governance, and actions during calamities, who do you think was more effective in managing the country's infrastructure, disaster response, and climate resilience? Why?
So for me, mas effective President Duterte kay nagkuan niya, ipinagbawal niyan pagpuputulin puno, tapos palimpyuhan gihap niyan mga ilog-ilog, like for example ang Manila Bay. Tapos pag may mga disasters talaga like typhoon, nagkukuha talaga yan full support, nahatag hiyahin mga relief goods, sugad bagan hands-on hiya, nahatag hiyahin tawag doon budgets, bagan sugad ba may mga reliefs para makabuligan mga nasalantas ng mga bagyo.
As a Filipino, have you ever tried to eat pagpag? If yes, how does it taste? If not, do you think it is healthier or not?
So for me, as a Filipino to eat a pagpag, I think it's not healthy for our health because we just all know that pagpag is just a trash that the people get. So I think it's not healthy.
Do you think pagpag is a viable solution to address hunger in the Philippines, and how does it highlight broader issues of food insecurity in the country?
So to address the issue or like the pagpag is a crucial issues that we just all know. So it is a viable solution to address in the Philippines. So could be the example for the Filipino to have that issues because para mas maano yung gobyerno, maksyon, gumawa sila ng programa para masolusyonan ang poverty here in our Philippines.
How can the Philippines address the ethical implications of food waste like pagpag while promoting sustainable agricultural practices and achieving the sustainable development goals related to food security?
So, with that, in line with the SDG, the government should implement those programs for the Filipino who are who has in a poverty. No. So, the government should implement proper or good programs for the people who needs financial or foods or the needs that they need